America, you love your country, so it goes without saying that you also love your ride. And Auto Armor in Flowood wants to help you make that ride shine. Auto Armor in Flowood is Central Mississippi's premier automotive detail and ceramic coating shop, servicing any type of vehicle, including ATVs, boats, and more. Need just a quick detail or paint correction? Auto Armor can make it happen. But if you're set to hit the road in a blaze of glory while flying the old red, white, and blue, Auto Armor should be your first and last call to give your ride a full ceramic coating. Auto Armor is locally owned and operated by the loud and proud American patriot Clay Edwards. Auto Armor also proudly backs the blue, all military and first responders. So don't forget to ask for your discount. Call 601-260-0858, 601-260-0858, or stop in today, fellow Americans. Auto Armor is located at 4394 Mangum Drive in Flowood. Online at AutoArmorMS.com. Auto Armor, unapologetically American.
Good morning, Jackson, Mississippi, and all surrounding areas. You have tuned in to the free-range human show of choice, your daily dose of reality radio. It's a Friday. It starts now. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am, of course, your host, Clay Edwards, live on 103.9. We're streaming worldwide at WYAB.com and on the TuneIn app. So if you're on the road, take us with you. If you miss any of the show, my podcast is available every day. Just go to any major podcasting and or music streaming platform. I'm on all of them. Just search Clay Edwards Show. And if you can't remember any of that, I have a website with all the links available there. Just go to clayedwardsshow.com. No "the" in front of it. It's just simply clayedwardsshow.com. All right. If you want to participate in today's show, the Mack Hike Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram of Flowood phone number is 601-879-0002. And if you are in the market for a new or pre-owned vehicle, check them out online at MackHikeCDJRF.com. That stands for Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Flowood. So that's MackHikeCDJRF.com. Also, our brand new sponsor, Guns and Gear. It is now the Guns and Gear text line. If you want to text into the show, 769-241-1944. It's already been on fire this morning. I can't repeat some of the things that have been said, but good stuff. I always appreciate the engagement from you guys, whether I agree with you or not. I'm here for all of it. All right, we got all the formalities out of the way. Why don't we get started? Real quick, let's start the day with some good news. It looks like Buddy's Law, the law for animal cruelty and potential crazy kids torturing animals and stuff, needing to get psych evaluations. This is a good thing, because if you go back and you look at serial killers over time, a lot of them started out terrorizing and torturing animals. So if we can get a psych eval on kids that torture animals, we may be able to intervene a little quicker and maybe prevent them from being serial killers or murderers or whatever it is they turn into. Because if my memory serves me correct, didn't the kid who tortured the dog Buddy, didn't he also shoot his sister or something? Now, don't quote me on that, but I remember there being a little more to it. And that's kind of what led to the whole Buddy's Law deal. All right, we have got a caller on the... No, we don't. They hung up. All right, so let's see here. I want to start hot with this one. This is fresh on my mind. And before I go all the way in on it, I want to say that this is absolutely no disrespect to Bobby Cleveland. I mean, no disrespect at all. So, but we're not changing the name of the reservoir. They want to change the name of the Ross Barnett Reservoir because, to quote WLBT here, a petition calls for rebranding a man-made lake in Mississippi by removing the name of a racist former governor and replacing it with the name of an outdoor journalist. The Ross Barnett Reservoir near Jackson was completed in 1963 and named by the Reservoir Board of Directors at the time. Barnett was the governor from 1960 to 1964 and was an avowed segregationist. A new petition calls for naming the lake the R.H. Cleveland Reservoir to honor Bobby Cleveland, who died after a traffic accident April 28th. Cleveland wrote for the Clarion Ledger. Two things here. I don't care what racist the reservoir or anything else is named after. Once you name something after somebody, it is what it is. There's a lot of schools named after bad people. Isn't there an Obama school, Barack Obama school here in Jackson? He's the most evil president we've ever had in our lives. That offends me to no end. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and guess that we're not changing the name of Barack Hussein Obama Elementary to Kyle Rittenhouse High. I'm guessing that ain't happening. We're not changing the name of the reservoir. I got a better idea to solve all of this. Quit naming stuff after people. How about that? How about you just call it the Ridgeland Reservoir? Or something, I don't know, pick something. The Pearl River Reservoir. It doesn't have to be the greatest name ever. It's no better than naming it after somebody. If we just quit naming stuff after flawed individuals, because we're all flawed, you won't have this problem where you get down the road and you're like, oh, well, our thoughts and opinions have changed now, and what we thought was right at the time is now wrong, and it doesn't matter what that is. Inevitably over time, your thoughts and opinions change, and what was viewed as normal behavior, the further you get away from it, is no longer viewed as normal behavior. It's like people who put ketchup on steaks or steak on ketchup, or dip their steak in ketchup. That's weird. My beautiful wife, I'm talking to you. My dad, I'm talking to you. Trump, I'm talking to you. That's strange behavior. It's hard to trust somebody who dips their steak in ketchup. History is not going to view y'all well the further away from this we get. Anyway, all right, my caller has called twice now and hung up as soon as I put him on hold. Quit doing that. When I put you on hold, stay there until I answer. When it quits ringing, it means you're on hold. So look, we're not changing the name of the reservoir. No more than we're changing the name of any schools around here to conservatives in Jackson. It ain't happening. Sorry. Can you imagine changing the name of the reservoir? And again, this is no disrespect to Bobby Cleveland. Why don't they change the name of a boat ramp or something after him or something different out there? I mean, again, no disrespect. I'm all for memorializing somebody, that did good, and he was an outdoorsman. I used to read his articles all the time. And I'm not even a big outdoorsman, but teach their own. So if you want to rename something, find something, out there. But we ain't renaming the whole reservoir. And again, this is just a petition. It's not something that's legitimate yet. And I'm probably bringing it more attention than it needs to have. But I'm actually doing that out of respect for Mr. Cleveland and to call out the chaos that is, I'm guessing, some liberals trying to change the name of the reservoir. Or maybe some guilt-ridden white conservatives. Who knows? All right, so we got our first call here on the Mack Hike Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram phone line. Hey, caller, you're on there.
Hello.
Hey, we got you.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am, you're on the air.
I'm going to call back.
All right. I could hear her. I don't know if she could hear me. I believe that was Lacey. Always enjoy her phone calls. All right, what else we got here to talk about? The Murrah High School brawls. There was a video floating around, I believe, on TikTok or Snapchat, maybe Snapchat. And it was absolute chaos at Murrah High School. I'm not sure when the fights were recorded, but I've got them. I loaded them to the Save Jackson Rumble account, and I shared it to the Save Jackson Facebook page, the link. Facebook and YouTube will not let you post videos of fights. They'll flag it, and I can't. If I want to keep my social media accounts, I can't get any more strikes for posting stuff like that. But you can share the links to external articles. And, hey, y'all need to go subscribe to my alt media stuff anyway, because it has stuff like this there that I can't put on Facebook and YouTube. Just go to rumble.com/SaveJXN. I'm also on BitChute as well to have some backup alt media video channels. All right, let's try this phone call one more time. Hey, can you hear me?
Yes, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you? Sorry for the mix-up there.
I'm wonderful. I heard you talk about the changing the reservoir to Bobby Cleveland. I knew him. He was a very, very loving and kind person, and he did a lot in the community. And I hate that what happened to him. That's just horrible. But if you don't name it after Bobby, please don't name it after a doggone politician.
No, yeah, you're 100% right. If you're going to name something after something, let's quit naming stuff after politicians, because inevitably with politicians, roughly half of the population doesn't like them. So you're inevitably going to offend half your voters or half your constituents, population, whatever you want to call us.
Right.
And then of course, as we get further removed from the civil rights era, and there's stuff that's named after people, I mean, we're going to have to change the name of everything.
Yeah.
If you can't start that. You just got to. That's erasing history. We can't erase history just because you don't like what somebody thought.
Racist people started a lot of stuff. So you're right. But like I said, Bobby was a good guy. I would love to see his name there. But you make sense too, saying just stop naming it after people. And I also wanted to.
Because then what happens?
What is it that she's talking? What is that bill that they're trying to pass? I'm lost.
So I am too, because I don't keep up with any of that view nonsense. I saw where Whoopi had made some statements about abortion or something, maybe, but I didn't. I didn't read into it.
They're talking about getting a bill, having some kind of domestic terrorism. Officers in the wherever. I don't even understand what all that is about. But there's terrorism in Jackson.
Yeah, it's funny you say that, because I actually made notes here to talk about the very thing. So the House passes a domestic terrorism bill to use the FBI to silence conservatives who disagree with them. And that's all it is. They want to be able to, they use the Buffalo shooting, just like they used 9/11 to start the Patriot Act, to be able to spy on Americans. That's what this all boils down to. And we're not going to take it. If you want to fight terrorism, get into these Democrat cities, because this is absolute terrorism.
That's right. That's right.
As far as I'm concerned,
that's heavily being done.
As far as I'm concerned,
nobody's saying anything about it. They're letting it just ride. I hate that.
Chokwe Antar Lumumba is no better or no different than what's his name, Bin Laden. He's just.
Well, I don't know him.
Well, Bin Laden.
I don't know a lot of them by name, but I just know what their actions are, and that's zero.
Osama bin Laden's the one who orchestrated the 9/11 attacks.
Oh, you're talking about Obama? I know exactly who you're talking about now. I'm sorry.
I mean, as far as
but at any rate, I really didn't understand that. I still don't. Somebody need to explain that one to me. And I guess that's about it. I just wanted to say that, and I love your show.
Thank you. Have a blessed one. We love you too.
You as well.
Mm-hmm. Now that we're not talking over each other there, I was trying to make the analogy that if we're comparing Jackson to a terror state, Chokwe Lumumba would be the Bin Laden of Jackson. He is the leader of a terrorist regime, of a terror state in the city of Jackson. All right, we got another call here on the Mack Hike Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Flowwood phone line. Hey, caller, you're on there. All right, or not. Let's try this. Hey, you're on there.
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. How you doing?
Hey, bud. Oh, sorry about that. Man, this is a shame they had to cancel the Jackson Fest.
Yeah.
I guess due to crime or whatever.
Look, I don't know that I believe that necessarily, and I don't want to be disrespectful to those guys, but let's just be honest here. And the same thing I told somebody last night. They didn't have a 3-day – that lineup was not one that was going to draw a crowd for 3 days. They maybe had one good solid day that they could have trimmed some fat off of and done that show. Rodney Atkins, the country act, so he's got about a half a hit to his name, and that was 10 years ago. I don't know if they thought that was going to be a draw. Some of those cultural hip hop style acts that they had booked that don't draw. That may draw a couple hundred people to a venue in downtown Jackson, that's not something you build a festival around. But I don't want to be a hater. I've done stuff like that failed. I've done stuff like that was successful. You just never know if man, moment, machine, and timing lines up just right. But I understand there were some security concerns. They were having a problem getting JPD on board for police help and this, that, and the other. I'm just hearing rumors at this point, so I don't want to speculate. I assume by Monday we'll have a better picture of what happened there. But, yeah, it's a shame, man. I hate it for all the artists and the fans of those artists. And I hate it for the promoters. I mean, because, I've booked a bunch of shows, and you got to pay 50% deposit up front, and you don't get that back when it's canceled. So
exactly, man. That's like whenever the fair was, they went from the Budweiser Pavilion a year and put it outside. It was just a outdoor stage. They said that, I think it was Sammy Kershaw, it started raining, and he drove off with, having, I think it was like $10,000 or however much they had to pay up front. Even though the show didn't go on, he got paid,
That's it. All right, hey, brother, I got to take a break, man. Appreciate you, Nathan.
I'm going to take it.
All right, bye. All right, you listen to the Clay Edwards Show. We'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. All right, welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We are live here on 103.9 WYAB, and this segment is going to be brought to you by my good friend, Miss Kimberly Harrelson. I love to read her ad spots on Fridays because I know a lot of people get out on the weekends and they go house hunting, and I want to put her name top of mind for you. It's Kimberly Harrelson with Next Home Realty. She spells Kimberly Kimberlee. She's got a website too, KimberlySalesMS.com. Or look, if you're like me, you're like, Clay, I don't like going to websites. I go to social media. Where can I find her on social media? Go to the old Facebook, hit the search bar, and type in Kimberlee. Next, Kimberly Harrelson, Next Home, and her business page will pop up. It's got her phone number, her email, her contact info, links to her website. It's kind of a one-stop shop there. She's very active on social media. She supports us and what we do here at WYAB and on the Clay Edwards Show, and I'm asking you all to support her. A lot of you guys are buying houses. A lot of you are taking advantage of a hot market and selling your home for top dollar. Let her assist you in this by bringing you qualified buyers and getting you in and out as quick as possible. Time is money, my friends, and let Kimberly Harrelson save you time and make you money, or save you money if you're buying a home. Anyhow, Kimberly Harrelson, KimberlySalesMS.com, right over there at Next Home Realty. Their office is right there on Old Fannin Road, in front of the bowling alley and all that there. So, again, the JXN FEST concert got canceled. I'm getting some interesting information sent to me. I'm going to kind of go through all of that, and I'll give a stronger opinion on all of that this upcoming week. But a buddy of mine just sent me something, and it pretty much the same thing I said. You can't take a bunch of, and no offense intended here, but you can't take a bunch of bands I can pay $5, $10 to go see, at any music venue in Jackson or club in Jackson on any given weekend and book them all and call it a festival. And especially with some of the production requirements, I'm telling you, this is expensive to put on a proper festival. And this don't even count. This doesn't even count paying the artist. You're talking about $500,000 for major festival staging and all that. And they're going out to a place with zero infrastructure for it. Man, the whole thing just, I was going to support it because, hey, I can't run this whole Save Jackson stuff and not support something coming to the city that could potentially be huge for the city. But it felt a bit like a pipe dream. But again, I don't want to sprinkle too much salt on it because the intentions seem good. I heard good things about the promoters. I even bought the JXNFest.com and linked it to one of my buddies because they made the artists sell tickets. Which that should have been a flashing red light right there for a festival to make the artist sell tickets. That may be normal. I don't know, but it seems a little weird to me, a little wonky there. But, hey, whatever. All right, so one of the things I've been really on fire about here lately, and I think most conservatives have, right, as inflation goes through the roof, as this illegitimate regime in D.C. are doing all they can to make Americans suffer, and this is their revenge for us voting for Trump. They can't stand it. They cannot stand that we voted for Trump, and they are making us suffer. They're even making their own voters suffer to pay us back for what we did to Hillary in 2016. They can't stand it. You have inflation through the roof. We're vastly approaching $7 to $10 a gallon for gas. I think it'll be $7 by the end of summer. By the time school starts back, at this rate, it could be there even sooner. You're going to have $10 by the end of the year. What you going to do? What you going to do for Christmas when gas is $10? You ain't going to do anything. Nobody's going to do nothing. You're going to watch America come to a screeching halt. But Clay has an idea. Now, we're going to have to suffer a little bit. You remember how all you guys told me, and by you guys, I'm talking to the white liberals out there and you rhino Republicans who are standing with Ukraine. Remember how y'all told me, I'll pay a little more at the pump if it means defending the people of Ukraine? Well, you know what? I'll pay a little more at the pump right now, even if it's $10 a gallon, if it means getting Joe Biden out of office, and if it means getting Trump back in there and setting up a Truth and Reconciliation Commission to make all you Biden voters pay for what you have done to America. These are war crimes as far as I'm concerned. And people need to know who you are. They need to know where you work. And they need to laugh at you hysterically. And you need to suffer. You do. You need to suffer some. For what you've done to America, you're making us suffer. I always go back and I think of the Dusty Rhodes Hard Times promo. Wrestling fans know it. If you don't Google it, Dusty Rhodes Hard Times promo. Ric Flair brought hard times on Dusty Rhodes. You Democrats have brought hard times on MAGA and Clay Edwards. And I'm mad as hell about it. I'm not going to ever forget it. I'm not going to ever forgive you. There's people I've been friends with my whole life that I know voted for Biden. And I have a real hard time being their friend. And every time I go to the gas pump, I have a real hard time not sending them a Cash App request for the extra extra money I'm having to spend on gas. I went into a gas station. Speaking of gas stations, I went into a gas station last night out there in Brandon, beautiful city of Brandon where I live, one of the best places in Mississippi, not named Jackson. Well, I said that wrong. Unlike Jackson, it's one of the most beautiful places in Mississippi. Brandon, Mississippi. Love it out there. Pearl, another beautiful place. I'll be at the Pearl Crawfish Bowl Saturday. And I bet there won't be any shootings there. I went into a gas station last night. And I was going to kind of break my diet a little, and I was going to get a little thing of ice cream. It was hot. I've been working at the shop, sweating my butt off. And they went, no ice in the ice cream. I guess there's a shortage on ice cream. And I was like, well, I want a spicy beef jerky or just something. I wanted to ruin my appetite for some reason. I was obsessed. I was on my way home to cook, but I was danged and determined to ruin my appetite before I got there. There was no beef jerky. I asked the girl, what's up with everything? She's like, it's hard to get anything right now. I was like, good Lord. I guess it'll be easier to stay on my diet if there ain't no food to get. This is Democrats' fault. They did this. Don't let them pretend. This ain't no Putin price hike. This ain't no Putin supply chain issue. This ain't none of that. This is Joe Biden. Good Lord. Donald Trump needs to get his foot back on the back. Put his foot back on the back of some folks' necks, as Lori Lightfoot said. The foot is off the back of our necks. It's time to get it back on. Good Lord, man. Y'all have broken America. Absolutely broken America. All right, we got a caller here on the Matt Kike and Flowwood phone line. Hey, you're on there.
Good morning, Clay. Hearing you talk about the gas prices, I happen to be a local rideshare driver. And nothing affects my business more than the gas prices that these people voted for.
Oh, I feel sorry for you guys. I really do.
I usually set a dollar goal for every day and drive until I get that dollar goal. My dollar goal in the past 3 months has increased by $75 to $80 a day.
Gosh, it cost me $20 a day in gas to come from Crossgates to Flora and back to Crossgates in my Infiniti. It's got the V6 in it. $20. I mean, maybe $18. I might be exaggerating a bit, but the low fuel light is back on. If I put $20 in gas in Crossgates, by the time I get back to Crossgates, the low fuel light's back on.
Clay, I do the drive that you do every day, but backwards. I drive from Flora to Jackson to do rideshare. The average fill up 5 months ago would cost me anywhere from $25 to $30 a day. Today, unfortunately, I have let this vehicle get to where my fuel light is coming on. It will take me upwards of $50 to $55 to fill my vehicle up today.
Without giving away too much personal information, what kind of vehicle do you have? I'm just curious.
I drive a Nissan small SUV.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you're about the same boat I'm in on gas then. And, typically we would consider these good gas mileage vehicles. But when you're having to pay $4.50 a gallon. Yeah, it's crazy, man. And it's no end in sight.
Yeah, and what it's really going to affect, I don't think that people that don't use rideshare regularly, I don't think that people really realize the amount of people in the Jackson area that use rideshare every day to get back and forth to work.
Well, yeah, it is public transportation, basically, because we have a terrible public transportation infrastructure around here, that it is public transportation, especially for people who live in rural states like Mississippi.
Absolutely. And it's getting to a point to where it's not profitable I've been driving rideshare for a little over 5 years and 4 years full time. And it's getting to the point where it's no longer profitable. And, those people that rely on this service, because as you said, the public transportation in Jackson is, to say that it's not very reliable is an understatement, that are going to suffer because they're relying on this transportation to get back and forth to work. I mean, I saw your post yesterday on Save Jackson that, not going to work, calling in because you're out of gas is about to be a reality.
Absolutely. I think people are going to really be looking to, you're going to see businesses shift back to the work from home model that can. Hey, brother, I got to take a break, man. I really appreciate you calling in this morning. Have a blessed one.
Have a great one, Clay. Thank you.
All right, we got to take a break real quick. We got callers on hold. You're listening to the Clay Edwards Show. I also got Christy Kendall coming up. She's going to talk about the big go-kart race down over at Butts Park this weekend. We'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. All right, welcome back into the Clay Edwards Show. We got a good text on the Guns and Gear text line. Someone said, how about the Reservoir Overlook Park or Party Cove? Call it the Bobby Cleveland Overlook or something like that. Just a thought. And that's exactly what I had in mind, was something like that. And if you're just tuning in, we were talking about them wanting to rename the reservoir away from the Ross Barnett name, which I'm not just 100% against taking his name off the reservoir. If you must do something and just call it the Res or something along those lines, that's what everybody calls it anyway. Another texter sent in, great point. But let's not name anything else after people. Let's just stop that, because inevitably down the road somebody's going to find a tweet somebody sent. Oh, that was white supremacy. We can't name it after that. Anyway, all right. On the Mac Hike of Flowwood phone line, we do have a caller that's been on hold here for a minute. Hey, caller, you're on there.
Good morning, Clay. This is Sylvia.
Hey, Sylvia, how you doing?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm great.
Good. I'll be quick. I'm a rideshare driver as well. However, this is what I do for gas. When I use an eighth of a tank of gas, I go fill up. And it's about the same amount of money that I used to prior to Brandon and his gas prices. And if I get to a quarter of a tank of gas, I'm headed to the gas station, because then it gets to be a little bit higher than what I want. But I keep it full purposefully. I still find rideshare driving profitable for me, but I just don't let it go past. I only use a quarter of a tank of gas. I hope I said that the correct way, but that's all I do. I just keep it full, and that way I don't feel like I'm spending any more than what I used to, although I am. If that makes any sense.
Absolutely. Hey, Sylvia, I got to jump over to the other line here, but I really appreciate you calling in this morning. Great to hear from you. Hadn't heard from you all week other than a couple text messages, so glad to hear from you. Stay safe out there doing your rideshare stuff, and hope to see you here in the studio with me and Teresa soon.
All righty. Thanks.
Have a blessed one.
Have
Bye-bye.
a good weekend.
You too. All right. Before I go to Christy Kendall, with Mississippi Karters Association. I want to say this about gas prices. If you see me in between some cars sucking on a not that Democrats, sucking on a water hose, siphoning some gas, mind your business. Mind your business. Especially if I see some Democrats' car. Who are we kidding? They ain't got no gas. They're all broke. All right. On the Matt Kike of Flowwood phone line, I've got Miss Christy Kendall with the Mississippi Karters Association. Christy, you there? Oh. Let's try this again. Christy, you there?
Hey, I'm here. How are you?
I'm good. I may have accidentally cut you off there.
That's okay. It's an exciting morning, right?
Some mornings I'm better than others with all these buttons. All right, we've got Christy Kendall with Mississippi Karters Association and DriveYourLine.com, and they got a big race this weekend out at Buddy Butts Park. It, my friends, has not been canceled, unlike the music festival. But, hey, I'm sure that's one less thing for anybody to have to clean up out there. So, anyway, with all that said, my friend Christy Kendall, tell us what you got going on.
Well, we're a little upset that the promoters had to cancel, but we understand what they face. And we're a promoter, too, and we do promote within the park. We do have a race this weekend. So Saturday's the hot setup. Gates open at 8 a.m. Practice starts at 9:30. Racing starts at 11. We're going to try and get the heats through into our features and get everybody back out the gate before it gets really hot. Driving suits, head socks, helmets, gloves, driving shoes get really, really hot. So we want everybody to be safe and get home without being a wilted flower. And so we're going to hustle through our agenda on Saturday. But the racing will still be quick. It'll still be exciting. Our numbers grow by 25% every time we open our gate, and that is exciting for us. A year ago, I showed up at a race. Nobody showed up for it. This year, we open the gate. We get 30, 40, 50 people coming in, and of those, 20 to 25 of them are class entries. So that's growth. That is major growth. And Clay, you have helped us do that, and I congratulate you on all you do for us. Thank you.
Well, I mean, with no help from me putting the wrong date in the commercial, and that is on me. I don't know how I managed to pull that off. I swore I saw June 1st, and apparently June 1st is a Tuesday this year. So
yeah, I had a lot of people go, "Man, you guys doing night racing?" I'm like, no.
but yeah, that's why we like to.
It got attention. It got attention.
That's why I like to have you on and clear everything up. So we appreciate that. Plus, as I always say, I enjoy our conversation, and we've been very blessed to have you snowbird your butt on down here to the south and be a part of our community. And you really jumped in. I don't know if you were listening yesterday. I talked to maybe the day before. Anyway, one day this week, I referred to what you guys is almost like a ministry for our youth, and it's helping get kids off the streets and into something productive that they can consume themselves with. That's a positive. And I think what you guys are doing is great.
We're a ministry of speed and technology.
Yeah.
And we teach kids how to use the skills that they haven't tapped into, including self-confidence, being independent, being respectful, good sportsmanship, how to interact among, let's say, sponsors or a potential sponsor, how to present themselves well in public. You can get your point across without being negative. And, that all comes from what we do. Last weekend, quick update, several members of the Mississippi Karters Association, as well as our company, Drive Your Line, trekked down to Biloxi, Mississippi. We did some testing at a great facility. If you're ever on the coast, please go check Finish Line Performance Karting. They have two beautiful rental tracks.
It's awesome.
It's a beautiful, it was immaculate. And we went down with the race karts to do some testing on their big track in the back, and it's quick, it's smooth, it's fun. We're, in a rental cart, it's a minute lap. In a race cart, some of our kids were turning 49s. But needless to say, they were a little illegal, but they were having a good time. And we hope that someday we'll be able to race down there. That's our goal, is to broaden the sport into many facets within the state of Mississippi. We have great weather. We have great supporters with our sponsors. And this is a way to get the word out that our sponsors are here, our sport is here, and we're looking to make a difference.
I think you guys are doing a bang-up job, and we're glad to be a part of it. And so this Saturday, the racing starts around noon, I assume. Is that if you're
we're going to start at 11 a.m. We're going to get it rolling as quickly as possible. Practice is at 9:30 sharp. We're going to have our drivers meeting about 10:30, 10:45. Hopefully our first heat can be on the grid by 11, and I hope to have them through the gate and back on the road by 2:30.
That's good stuff there.
We want to get them out the door before we all start getting too hot and cranky.
Yeah, that is a sure sign of where Clay will be about 2:30 Saturday. Is hot and cranky, eating some crawfish somewhere.
So if anybody has a pool that they would like to have some new friends over, just send me your address. The whole Cart Club will be there.
All right, Christy, we thank you for calling in this morning. You guys stay safe. Have a blessed and successful weekend. We appreciate you. That's this Saturday out at Buddy Butts Park, Mississippi Karters Association. You can find them online. Hey, you too. You can find them online at misskarting.com or go to Facebook, like I was saying earlier, and just type in Mississippi Karters Association. All right, look, we're going to take a break real quick, come back so we have a good 5 minutes to end the show. If you want to call in on the Mack Hike Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Flowwood with any thoughts and opinions, 601-879-0002. Or if you want to text on the Guns and Gear text line, that is 769-241-1944. This is the Clay Edwards Show. I am Clay Edwards, and we'll be right back on 103.9 WYAB. All right, welcome back into the Friday edition of the Clay Edwards Show. As we get ready to land this plane, not just for the day, but for the week here, get the weekend started, man. There's a lot of great stuff going on in Jackson this weekend, starting Saturday there at Buddy Butts Park with the goat cart races with Mississippi Karters Association. There's crawfish bowls all over the place. I think I got 3 to be at Saturday. I'm having to readjust my schedule and my eating habits so I can go to 3 different crawfish bowls. But yeah, man, a lot going on. Look, to my point about Democrat voters, y'all are going to have to pay for this more than out of your pocket. We're going to have some revenge for this. Just like AOC says, there's going to have to be a Truth and Reconciliation Commission. We're going to have a list, and your name's on it. Where at is it on it? I don't know yet. I don't know if we're going to do this thing in alphabetical order or what. I'm trying to think of a few people around here locally. I don't know if I can put them on a theoretical list or not. I don't know if that's against the FCC rules, but there's a few people locally that are going to be on the top of my list for the Clay's Truth and Reconciliation Commission for Democrats. I see concrete walls and gallows. That's what I'm visioning here. I'm kidding. I am kidding. Sarcasm. I know Democrats don't do sarcasm. Have you ever tried to tell a joke to a Democrat or be sarcastic? Bro, they can't do it. Their brain breaks. They can't do it. Trump completely broke them. The left used to be funny. Like they used to be. But now that they can't make fun of their own side or themselves anymore. They can't laugh at themselves because that's racisms. Anyway, speaking of funny, Cat Williams has a new special on Netflix. I stumbled across it last night. I was about 20 minutes in, and I was like, man, this is funny. Let me tell Kim Wade about this. I text Kim. I'm like, Cat's got a new special. By the end of it, I almost sent Kim an apology text for recommending it. It's by far the worst Cat Williams special that I've ever watched. Was not impressed at all. It was it's vulgar, and that is what it is. But it was just vulgar for the sake of vulgarity, and it wasn't funny. I was like, about the first 20 minutes, he talks about the chicken wings. He's like, there's a chicken wing shortage, but not a chicken shortage. That bit was good, but the rest of it was not. So, but hey, if you ain't got anything else to do, check out Cat Williams' new special. You be the judge of what's funny. Don't let me tell you. Let's see here. On the Guns and Gear text line, the person also texted back in and said about the reservoirs. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, just name it the Madison-Rankin Reservoir. And that was in my reply to me saying I just wouldn't change the name to another person's name. And I agree. I like that. The Madison-Ridgeland Reservoir or the Madison-Rankin Reservoir, whatever. Just let's quit naming stuff after politicians, after people, period, because people are flawed and inevitably somebody's going to get a little booty rash over something somebody did in their past. All right, guys, look, it's been a great week. I had a bunch of great guests. I think this is the only day I got to just sit up here and spit a little fire with just me in the studio. I want to thank everybody that came in this week. The podcast numbers, again, they're through the roof. If you're interested in coming on the show as a partner, let me know. You can email me, clay@wyab.com. We've got some more partners coming on. We just brought Guns and Gear on. Well, we're so happy to have the partners that are already here. I appreciate all of them. Y'all can check us out online, clayedwardsshow.com. Everything is there. You can go buy a Clay Edwards Show shirt if you want, even a sticker. And all the links to the podcast are there. The Save Jackson YouTube, the Save Jackson Facebook. Jim Thorne is next, followed by Mike Madison. I'll see y'all Monday. Clay Edwards Show right here, 103.9 WYAB.
Thanks for listening. Tune in next week as the Clay Edwards Show discusses all that is going on in and around the city of Jackson.
This concludes our broadcast day.
Right here on 103.9 WYAB.